Welcome to the Nuclear Snail channel. In this short episode I'm going to talk about this cybernetic Exo-Suit glove which I made. Come on camera, focus on the glove. Yes, that's a good camera. So I just finished this, it's half a day's build, and I'm going to go over its features and talk a bit about the design process, so the usual show and tell Nuclear Snail style video. So, as you can see here, it is based off of a regular glove. I think it's like the most common model internationally that you just find on any online selling platform. If you just punch in something like army gloves or military gloves, so those are used by a lot of people everywhere. So those are the base. Now this size is one size too small for me, because this is actually for a client. I'm gonna tilt down the camera so you don't see me all the time. So this is one size too small for me, but it's fine for him. So it's a bit uncomfortable for me, but it's fine. So you see that another main element of this is this metal plate, and I did this using my CNC engraving. If you don't have a CNC and want to do something like this, you can use electric etching for the engraving part and just cut it out with a handsaw or with a electric scroll saw. Same thing is happening here on the thumb, or on the base of the thumb. And we have a Nuclear Snail patch here bolted to the strap, like this. And it also holds the muscle fibers in place, the red ones. So this is actually an extension for the Exo-Suit robot arm, which I recently made. I'm not wearing it together because the Exo arm is already long ago at the client's place, and now he is getting his hand or his arm finished with this glove. Now, I didn't make a lot of gloves in the past. They're generally a pain in the butt to work with. Like, either you have a glove and you just mod it a bit and add a couple of stencils and decals and stuff like this, or it gets really much work real fast. So I won't tell you here publicly how much exactly this cost him, but some people have paid this much for an entire shoulder pad. Granted, not a fully pimped one, but still. Gloves are just a pain in the ass to work with because you still need to retain the mobility and you still need to tell a cool story somehow. You don't have a lot of space to work, so you need to work condensed. And at the same time, people like gloves and people want gloves, and you might want gloves for yourself, because this is the part that you see. It's like looking at yourself in an FPS game. Like, you see your own hands, so that's kind of cool. Like, it's really in the whole character. Like, if you look at a whole character, the glove is... it's kind of tiny, but from me perspective, from the first person perspective, the glove takes up a lot of space because you yourself as a player on LARP or somewhere else use your hands all the time, right? So this is why gloves can be an important immersive thing for you to do. Now, how comfortable or uncomfortable is this, given that these metal plates are bolted in here and those hoses just go inside through those holes pre-existed already, by the way. I just used what I had at hand, you know, literally. So this is, despite it being with bolts and all, it is less uncomfortable than you would think. Actually, the most uncomfortable parts are here, those plastic wires going in. It's not up here. Up here I don't feel anything at all. I wouldn't box with this like I would with the unmodded version against, you know, something hard, but this is fine. It works good. And for my client, I think it will be great because my hand is, again, too big just for the model, so he will have less trouble with it. Now, of course, if you bolt something to your glove, it will be less comfortable than it was before. That's a given. And there are certainly ways to make this like super comfortable and super pimp looking at the same time, but this was actually also on a budget, so did what I could in the amount of time given. So let's talk about the design. Now you can see that I rely heavily on engraving, graphics, right? It could also have been like some application up here or something, like, you know, some, you know, typical military insignia glued on top of this or bolted on top of this, but I went with this really technical looking decals to reinforce the whole thing. So this is the one thing that makes it look really high-tech, and that's important for this particular build. And let's talk about those synthetic muscle fibers going in here. So it is at the same time a quick and dirty, but actually not dirty at all, solution to the problem of where do those go? How do they reinforce the fingers? Now, they don't go up to here, because then it would be less comfortable to grip things, because then it would need an assembly up here and all that. It would also get more expensive, because it would be more work to do. But like this, those wires just go in here and they probably do something. Do they connect to the fingers directly, like it's a cyborg arm, literally? Or do they just, is there like a sub-glove which is connected to them, which maybe like the whole wire widens into like a net kind of structure which is underneath this? You don't know, and it's one of those typical classic examples of a story told not fully, like you leave something to the imagination. So this works good. A shortcut like this works nice. You know, it's different than just, I don't know, leaving it hanging and pretending like it works, because then it looks like it doesn't. So these plates, technically, they're just aluminum, and you can see underneath here is some EVA. It doesn't do a lot, but it does not allow you to cook underneath, look underneath it. Cook, because in German "gucken" means to look. So that's why I just say it like this. So it doesn't allow you to look underneath this and see the wires and all that. It also maintains that thing of mystery about it. So that's all that EVA foam does. It's pressed really firmly against the glove here with bolts, and bolts have small washers underneath them. Now, I ordered those washers by accident, or better to say, the company that delivered them to me probably made a mistake, because I ordered bigger ones, but these smaller ones work great, and that's why they went inside of this. Yeah, on this side there is nothing but default stuff and some distressing. Yeah, and the way it's going to be attached to the robot arm is the way you see here. It's just a long strand of synthetic muscle fibers taped together, and the guy is gonna just put this on first and then put the robot arm on top, so nothing needs to be mounted or whatever. It's just gonna be, you know, stuck underneath there, and he can move freely. So yeah, I don't know what else really to say about this glove. It was a fun little project, and I made it a lot faster than I thought I would. So subscribe to my channel and support me on Patreon if you're a regular viewer. Also in the video description is the Nuclear Snail community group. You can go there to get some feedback on your costume and see other people's posts and all that. And I will see you in the next episode. Until then, hail the snail.